The last breath of eternity. When I decided to move into Blackwood Manor, many warned me about its dark history. No one in town wanted to talk about it, but the whispers were inevitable. They said the Blackwood family had been cursed for generations. The mansion, with its black stone walls and overgrown gardens, had witnessed centuries of suffering, madness, and death. But the mansion was mine now. The fact that it was an unexpected gift from a distant Uncle One I had never heard of didn't make me hesitate. I wanted to escape the daily grind, the city, the endless noise. So, I took the keys, ignoring the whispers and the wary looks, and stepped into what I thought would be my refuge. The first night was quiet, but something in the air unsettled me. A pressure in my chest, like an unseen presence, watching, waiting. As I lay in bed, the house creaked and groaned, the sounds amplifying in the silence. I forced myself to sleep, convincing myself everything was normal. At midnight, I woke up drenched in cold sweat. A sound low, almost imperceptibly, echoed from the upper floor. A whisper, a frail and broken voice calling my name. Thomas. Tomet. The echo of my name froze my blood. I couldn't move, but my eyes locked onto the bedroom door. Slowly, it began to open. Not from the wind, not from the shifting wood. Something had pushed it. A bone-chilling cold flooded the room, and a long, shadowy figure appeared in the doorway. It was not human, not completely. It was made of pure darkness, an abyss that swallowed all the light around it. The whisper grew stronger. Thomas, come. The words were soft but filled with desperation. The air around me thickened, heavy like a dense fog, and I felt an unnatural pull. My feet moved on their own, dragging me toward the door. As I stepped into the hallway, the shadows shifted, twisting like living things, like snakes waiting to consume me. My mind screamed at me to run, to fight, but I was trapped puppet on invisible strings. At the end of the hallway, I stood before the basement door. The dark figure had vanished, but a sickening sense of dread settled over me. The door creaked open, revealing an abyss of blackness, a void so deep it seemed endless. Thomas, enter. The voice came from below. I couldn't resist. Somehow, I was descending the stairs, each step echoing in the oppressive silence. The air was thick with rot, suffocating. My flashlight flickered as if struggling to stay alive. At the bottom, I saw something horrifying. A figure lay motionless, on the floor. Its skin was shriveled, decayed, almost mummified. But the worst part was its face. It wasn't human. Its eyes were hollow, empty pits of nothingness. Then it moved. It lifted its head and looked at me, and it smiled. Not a human smile. A grotesque, twisted glint too wide, too unnatural, and in that moment, it whispered, "Now you are part of eternity." The days that followed became a waking nightmare. Time blurred, slipping through my fingers like sand. I had no idea if a week had passed or a month. My mind struggled to grasp reality. The figure in the basement wasn't the only thing left behind. Its words echoed in my head. Now you are part of eternity. The mansion was no longer a refuge. It was a prison. Strange things began to happen. The house changed. Walls cracked. Doors shut on their own. Every time I entered a room, it felt as if I had already been there before. Time and space were distorting, as if the house itself had become aware. One day, I looked out the window, and I saw them in the overgrown garden beneath a dead tree. They stood, dozens of figures, watching human shapes, their faces hidden in a thick mist, their bodies worn, their presence unsettling. But the worst part was the silence. They didn't move. They didn't speak. They just stared. A weight crushed my chest, 1,000 invisible eyes burning into me. Then the voice returned. "Thomas, come to us." The same voice, the same call. I couldn't resist. My feet moved without my control, guiding me toward the garden, closer and closer to those things. As I neared them, I saw their details torn clothes, twisted bodies, faces distorted by time. One figure stepped forward. It was him, the thing from the basement. His smile stretched wider. "You have reached the end, Thomas." Before I could scream, before I could fight, something took hold of me. My thoughts shattered. My mind collapsed into darkness, and in one final breath, I was swallowed by eternity.